Hey everyone, welcome to PSG, and not only was Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade announced yesterday during the State of Play, but they also announced two brand new mobile games, one involving the Final Fantasy VII compilation remake and a battle royale. And I want to talk about all of those in a quick video today with one of the members of my raid team in Final Fantasy XIV. Joining me today is Neo. He plays a Dragoon. Yes, he's every meme known to mankind. But, say hello, Neo.
Hi. I play Samurai, but...
No, but you were Dragoon for like one match, and that really is all that matters.
Yes.
So the first thing I want to talk about is Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. And that is basically they're coming out with a PS5 upgrade to the original Final Fantasy VII Remake. We're going to get enhanced graphics, 60 frames per second, that kind of a treatment. But we're also getting the inclusion of a new character. Yuffie is coming to the storyline. What do you think about them adding Yuffie to it?
I think it's going to be cool because she looks like she had throw in the video, so she'll have some of her,
so like ranged abilities mixed with her ninja combat?
The ninja combat I saw was interesting because it looked like literally a ninjutsu symbol from 14. So that's pretty cool. Don't know how that's going to work into the playstyle of her. Or...
You think we're in the middle of combat, we're going to have to stop and do all the ninjutsu symbols like at Final Fantasy XIV? Just hold on, everyone.
I don't think that much, but she might have like, some debuffs or some stuff like that. But the coolest thing is the new inclusion of the new character with her, the Dragoon guy.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan. I think they're just going to be a new character, like the Gilgamesh character that I forgot the name of, that they kind of just threw into the game and never brought him up again. But hopefully they flesh this character out more because he looks interesting.
Okay.
So.
What I think is, because I liked the way that they implied Wutai was around during the whole bombing and everything that was going on with Avalanche. Knowing the ending to the game, and we could probably have a longer talk about the ramifications of how the ending has altered things at another time. But if you don't know the way it ended, generally it was shown that the timeline is being altered, and Final Fantasy VII Remake is literally the name. Like, the name is literal. They are remaking Final Fantasy VII. There's a bunch of theories involving an alternate form of Sephiroth and which Sephiroth you fought, but someone is altering the timeline, and that's the cliffhanger we're at. Now that we know that ending, though, things like, Yuffie was actually around during the early point of the game, kind of like, I don't know, it's fun to see how we can change things now. That we can do this. We are allowed to possibly keep Zack alive, involve Yuffie in the bombing, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess she could have been in the OG around that same time because her and Wutai and Avalanche were working together because there were like little bits of lore in the old mobile game with Wutai and, things happening with Avalanche and Wutai and stuff like that. So
it's implied they're around at least.
They're kind of just melding everything together.
Well, I think the problem with 7 is it got so popular and then so many extra things came out. The story got a little disjointed and weird. It turned into one of those things where you're like, but if you've played all these other games, you know more of what's happening that's never implied in the main games, Yeah,
but the thing is, you got to look at how 7 was back in, like, it's a very old game. Like, they couldn't possibly... add in everything that they maybe wanted. It could be just, a pull out of nowhere, but you can't really say because they possibly could not add everything into the game.
So, speaking of the originals, they announced as a mobile game, which I find very weird, but it's not out of the question because we did Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition as a mobile game, and then it came to Switch and PlayStation and everything, but they announced Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and this is going to feature all of the compilation games. So we get the original game, then we're going to get Before Crisis, which was the Nokia phone game you had mentioned before this. I still can't believe there was a Nokia phone game Like I knew of its existence for the longest time, but the fact that it did exist, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and all the Turks. I kind of wish that they would have done like a remake of that kind of type thing as well.
Well, I mean, aren't they remaking them
cool.
all? I thought it was remaking every one of these games under that new 7 graphic style.
I know they had a list on there. I saw FF7, Advent Children. I also saw Dirge of Cerberus.
So Crisis Core we saw, and Crisis Core could easily fit into that graphic style. I think before Crisis could probably fit into that graphic style as well, but Dirge of Cerberus was a third-person action shooter game, and Advent Children's a movie. So I don't know how that's supposed to work.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do Advent Children, but I kind of just wish they'd just, depending on how this goes out, I hope they make it for console or even Steam.
Yeah,
for that matter,
anything.
for most games.
I will play this on my tablet probably, but yes, I would rather play this on Steam or my console or anything other than my tablet. I don't want to sit on my tablet for 5 to 6 hours playing Final Fantasy VII. You know, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if it's going to be, since it's so many games built into one, if it's only just going to be like very, very bare minimum of the story, or if it's actually just going to be like fully fleshed out.
I will say though,
long.
even if it is going to be the bare minimum, even if it's just going to be like how Kingdom Hearts 2.5 and 1.5 and all those games did the phone games, I still think it's better that these pieces of the history are just not forgotten. Because as 7 has gone on through the years, and as they've done the remakes and the remasters, and now we got this whole new game, I mean, stuff like Crisis Core. I always talk about the great game Crisis Core, and everyone's like, what game is that? Oh, it came out forever ago. On PSP. Yep. You were Zach. You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't make sense. And like watching Advent Children now without having all these pieces of the pie. And Dirge of Cerberus is still one of my favorite action shooters from forever ago, just because I was a kid and Vincent was awesome.
I am one of the few that also really liked Dirge of Cerberus. A lot of people really, really hate it.
Yeah.
And thought it was like one of the worst games in the franchise. But there were a lot of things about it that I liked when I played it. If I played it now, I probably wouldn't like it as much. But I mean, I still wouldn't hate it.
I think it was a good experiment. See what else you can do with the franchise beyond just another RPG.
Yeah. I mean, the story was okay as well. Made sense.
Do you think that they're going to wrap this into like that style that they made, that chibi kind of like style, or do you think they're going to carbon copy like Dirge over and just give us the movie Advent Children?
I think it's going to be like Dissidia Operamnia graphics style. It looked like it with updated basically text avatars like they had in the preview.
Okay.
Which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's gonna be really good.
I can't wait to try all of this out. I'm hoping that you don't have to like beat one of them to unlock all the other ones or something.
I think it's probably gonna go in order, but it might also go by like pick chapter type thing.
Right.
You never know.
So that brings us to the latest experiment in the Final Fantasy VII franchise, the First Soldier, which the title leaked a while ago, and everyone assumed this was going to be some cash grab story of Sephiroth's first time as a soldier. But apparently it's even more of a cash grab, and it's a battle royale game. Considering you just finally got into Fortnite, how do you feel about this?
I personally don't like battle royales, but from what I saw, it looked like it might be a fun game to play very, very casually.
It's another tablet game, which I find like if this was on PC or PlayStation 5, I would probably play at least. I have played all their weird attempts at multiplayer, from Comrades to Crystal Chronicles to like I would play this. But on a tablet, I don't know.
The thing is, if it can be played on BlueStacks or any form of emulator, it might be very good. If it's one of those games that literally can't, because there are some, I don't think I'll touch it. But it looked very interesting mechanic-wise, incorporating materia and stuff. That's pretty neat, honestly.
Yeah, like everything in the game looks kind of interesting. I'm kind of surprised it's not just packaged into a game like they did with Comrades. Like, it looks like that kind of a thing, but and I know phones are getting bigger and bigger and bigger over in Japan. They're surpassing all mobile platforms, but I don't know, it's still weird to have a game that looks this fleshed out, this third person, this ready for a console release, going straight to iOS and Android. Like,
that's what I don't understand. Like, they did Mobius, which was actually very cool and very well graphics and all that jazz, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really know why they decided to just do iOS with like this much work into it, I guess. Like it looks like they put a lot of work into it.
Oh yeah, no, it looks like it looks like they're trying to compete with Fortnite Mobile, Call of Duty Mobile, which are doing. I mean, for the record, everyone likes to crap on mobile games, but mobile games make bank. Call of Duty Mobile apparently is getting a huge update. PUBG just announced a new mobile game. Fortnite Mobile's huge. Like, these games do well on mobile. I will give them that. And maybe it's just us being stuck up Final Fantasy fans that want this on like our pristine 4K TVs kind of thing. But
my assumption is they're going to try it on iOS because it's probably the cheapest to do right now. And then they're probably going to say, oh, if it works really well and it's really popular, they might move it to some other, like maybe console or stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, because I'm pretty sure Pocket Edition did that. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Pocket Edition did start as an iOS Android release for 15, and then it went to Switch, and then it went to PS4, and now you can just play it on everything. So I'm hoping that's what's going to happen.
I mean, they did that with Mobius, right? They started on iOS, and then they moved it to Steam. So
Yeah, and it did well on Steam from what I understand until they finally just shut it down eventually. That's good, and that's just because Square has so many mobile games. You and I play so many of them.
Yep.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this today. Thank you so much for joining me today, Neo. I know this is not your normal cup of tea, but thank you for giving me the opinions of another Final Fantasy VII fan who's actually played all of these games. It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be to find someone who's actually played the 7 compilation before.
Yep. Crisis Core is actually one of my favorite games.
Same here. And that's why it was like, I found people that played 14. I found people that didn't play any of the games. And I'm like, damn it. I need someone to talk to about this. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let us know in the comments down below if you want more updates on Final Fantasy as it comes out, because we'll be talking more and more about it with our opinions. And that's the show for today. See ya.